You're busy, you've got a decent practice, but nobody wants to be decent. You want to be great, and you want to have a great practice. So how did the most productive, profitable dentist in the nation balance real life, work, and profits, and somehow make it all seem fun? Well, it comes down to simple, everyday practices. So grab a lunch, join us as we chat with top clinicians and influencers to discover their formula for uncommon success. Are you ready? Then it's time to explore everyday practices.
Hey everybody, welcome to Everyday Practices. This is Dr. Chad Johnson in little old Des Moines, Iowa area. And I want you to know something about Productive Dentist Academy. Our vision is to transform every entrepreneurial dentist into a productive dentist. Did you know that we are one of America's fastest 500 private companies? It's true. So here today, we also have Reagan Robertson. Reagan, how you doing today?
Well, I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for that little PDA
Were you expecting
plug
an
there.
impromptu plug? Yeah.
Oh, no.
Doing good while doing good.
Fastest growing for 4 years in a row.
Check that out, CMO.
Yeah. Good job with the
You deserve a
capturing
Tesla.
the vision.
Yeah.
I do. Everyone deserves a Tesla here.
You deserve a Tesla.
You deserve a Tesla. New company incentive goal.
And just like that, our listenership went through the roof. So today we have Annette Stevenson here from Colorado. So we're still doing 3 time zones here. Annette, how you doing today?
Doing really good, thank you.
Annette, please, let's just cut to the chase. What's your Instagram handle, if that's what you call it?
Oh, my Instagram handle is AnnieFoFanny91.
Annie Fofani, that is so good.
It is. Yeah, I thought it was catchy, and all of the generic ones for my name were taken. So here we are.
So there's that. Yeah. So I want to let every listener know today that Annette is a marketing coach for Productive Dentist Academy who specializes in developing effective and customized marketing strategies for dental offices all over the nation. With a background in biology and science, Annette has always enjoyed uncovering how things work. But it was while working at Carry Free that she developed an interest in the dental industry. Annette also possesses a deep passion for problem solving, implementing unique solutions, and helping alleviate stresses on doctors and practice owners overflowing plates. She counts herself fortunate to be a marketing coach with Productive Dentist Academy, as I said earlier, which she can bring her skills in social media strategy, creating video content, and her obsession with spreadsheets and tracking data, go Excel, into ensuring her clients get the most out of their marketing budgets.
I think that you have a really good handle on how the market listens and responds, and how to communicate that over to doctors who need to focus on doing great dentistry. So if you think about all the different tactics that have been thrown in front of you, the ones you use on your own, I love the Instagram handle in the beginning. The background talk listeners we were talking about, she runs a really fun Facebook and Instagram page, and she uses like all the bells and whistles, and I think she's a celebrity. Every time I'm like, exactly what the Jenners are doing, only so much better.
Well, thank you.
So, so you've got that background, and then being a marketing coach for as long as you have with us, also you have some of the more traditional routes. So of all the tactics out there, what are you seeing in dentistry that's really being effective, regardless of, maybe where you're located at or the type of services you offer?
Yeah, no, that's a really great question. And usually I answer that in a way that most dentists don't like being as analytical as they are, because it's very custom, right? It's going to depend on a plethora of things like demographics, what you're passionate about, where you live, how close are you to the people you're trying to target, all kinds of things can influence the type of strategies that I might recommend for you. But at the very core, the ones that I usually see take off the most are the ones that are a little bit more personal and intimate to the doctor. And what I mean by that are things that are really basic that maybe think people are really uncomfortable with, like networking, for example, just going out in the community and not even with your dentist hat on per se, but doing really fun things out there and getting involved with local schools, local clubs, whatever the case is. And then that provides an opportunity to talk about your dentistry. They're obviously going to naturally ask you about it. But that goes much further than something like a pay-per-click ad or direct mail, right? Because that can seem, although effective, when implemented correctly, a little bit more passive. So I think it means a lot more to people especially when it comes to something as important as a smile. When you go out there and you actually talk to people and you're involved in the community, I would say building those relationships internally in your practice and harnessing the power of the people who are already in the practice who love you and are probably already talking to everyone in their community about you, harnessing that power and asking for referrals. Again, something that doesn't come naturally, I think, to most dental practices, but that is very acceptable and very easy and powerful. So it's really getting back to the grassroots marketing strategies and then building up from there. But I feel like I'm getting a little off topic. But.
No, you're going.
No, spot on.
I think I really want you to dive a little bit deeper into the internal thing. There's a phrase that I used often, and it's make yourself right on the inside before you go out. And I think to us it may seem basic, and to a lot of dentists, I'm sure you guys have heard it 1,000 times, but there is a real power in that. So talk more about that. Is internally, you mean referrals, or do you mean patients, or do you mean team out in the networking field? What
or
is
yes.
Yes, all of the above. Yeah. Because, I mean, we know that there are many dentists out there. You probably drive past, 5 to 10 every day on your way home. But how are you going to make the decision to go to a specific dental, become a part of a specific dental family? And that's really what it is. It's a team of people taking care of your health and your smile. So when I talk about internal things, Reagan, if I tell you about, like, as women, we usually ask each other about hair. Stylist, for example.
I know.
Yeah, right? Look at that hair, Chadwick. So if I'm going to apply that to dentistry, you're going to take my recommendation for a dentist versus just shopping online, probably. Like, Google reviews can go a long way, but person to person, which is something that I feel like we're losing a little bit in culture today, goes so much further than any kind of digital marketing, direct mail marketing, social media marketing that we can do. So harnessing those internal resources, like your team members who are already talking about how great you are, like your patients who love you already, that recommendation is going to go a lot further. And it's also, by the way, a lot cheaper than a lot of other marketing strategies out
That's
there.
right.
Oh, in that vein, tell me what really frustrates you, because you said you're a bit obsessed with tracking and data.
Yes.
Which is the definite side. That's very interesting. I've never seen this before. No wonder your scientific side is probably pretty happy here, because you deal with a lot of analytical points. You're looking for clues.
Yes, it's like an investigation all the time.
Are there situations that pop up? I really don't know the answer to this. In your calls with your doctors, do you see areas where you're frustrated because they're losing money and they don't have to be? What are they doing? What can we give listeners as a tip of, if you're doing this, doc, stop it?
Yeah. Let's see. I would say it's tough because there's probably a lot. Number one is, I think that we're always looking for the quick fix and the magic bean that's going to, bring us from 20 new patients a month to 50 in like a month. We're always looking for that quick and inexpensive fix. So I think a lot of doctors that come to me, although have made some really great choices, have either been sold into some potentially bad ones, maybe didn't vet an opportunity properly. And it's hard because dentists want to do dentistry, right? That's what they went to school for. So they may not have the tools or the time or the resources to properly vet out these opportunities. They jump into a website, they jump into a direct mail program, whatever the case is, long-term contracts, and it maybe wasn't the best fit for them, but they signed the contract and they're kind of stuck, and it's not working. The other piece is that on the other end, they could have a good fit. However, they're not tracking it properly or having the right ongoing conversations to make sure that maybe changes are being made to a digital advertising campaign to keep up with competition that's come in the area, or new offers that might be better, new ad copies, that kind of thing. So it's a really complex question, I guess, which is what I kind of like about it. And like you said, I'm constantly investigating and looking for clues and trying to refine all these pieces. But
and what I hear then is that dentists should expect that if you were their marketing coach, that you would empirically study over time to perfect how the dollars are being spent for an ROI. But it depends you've seen my monthly and quarterly reviews with Jenny, and then other doctors and stuff like that. And you know that over time that can get better, or I suppose, you know, there are certain ways that it could get worse, where if you went on an adventure of saying, why don't we try and offer this and that, and it's not getting the kind, but that's just as important as of information as, okay, we're always going to get better. It's like, yeah, well, at some point you might max out your return. And then I suppose your next question is, should you hold that? And what's the doctor's desires? Are they cool with having 60 new patients a month, or do they want to dial it back? Are they cool with dumping a ton of money in when they're not trying to grow, or do they want to dial that back? Or, you know, so it would have to do with what their goals are, and empirically watching over the course of a few months and within a year or two or whatever, to be able to dial those in and say, your most bang for your buck in rural Virginia is going to be this and that. And that's not the same as the guy in LA.
Absolutely. And I think that's where the conversation gets hard, because I think that some people come in with certain expectations, or they've been told things before, or they have read something and they think they know what's going to be best for them. But what's really unique about, I think, having a marketing coach is we dig so deep into all of the variables that go into creating your custom marketing strategy. But the other thing is that, like you said, so for example, when a client comes to me, we set up their ROI, what we call database. So we look at all the things within the last year that they've implemented, all of the expenses and all of the production from those things, and create what I like to call a baseline ROI. So we know what they've been spending, what they've been making, and then we're going to move forward from there. So then over the next year, we spend that year refining everything. So we maybe look at the last year worth of data, and we determine what things need to maybe be cut and what things we can keep. And then once we've opened up some potential marketing dollars here, because we don't want to spend all your money on marketing, we have a very specific formula, then we can look at some fun opportunities over here that are a better fit based on the numbers that we see, based on your demographics, all the fun research that we can collect. So it is potentially a slower process than some people like, but it's really about refining and being extremely specific and purposeful when we go through that process, because it's your guys' money in your practice. So
well, in one regard, you can have, like we talked about last podcast, Regan, with Stacy, is that you can do a 12-week program, or you can make it a lifestyle. And the same thing, if someone said, hey, I want to do a 2-week marketing plan, and it's just like, okay, we can do that, but is that really going to get you healthy? As opposed to saying, okay, over the next year, where do you want to be? And then how do we implement little things to change to make it basically a lifestyle, as opposed to just a quick diet fix? Absolutely.
Yes. And the thing about marketing is that things can change all the time. There's a natural ebb and flow to it. And it's going to change, and your goals might change. So we adjust to that ongoing.
Or think about this. Some of the stuff that you guys use, some of the tools that you have me implement into my practice, that tool might be out of date in the technology by next year. And someone else might be doing that and something else for half the cost.
Right.
Just as an example, you know, like texting patients to getting them rescheduled.
Yep.
You know, and then next year someone says, oh yeah, we do that, and we offer an R2D2 to answer the phone just like a person, and it sounds just like a person and stuff like that. I mean, you know, but that's coming down the pipeline from Google.
Hey, I would love that and sell it.
Stop it. You stop it. I have leather-bound books and rich mahogany behind me, and I'm very important.
Okay, I know. Let's pause there. So, Annette, I know you work with a lot of high-level dentists. So I know that the dentists that typically come to you, they have some idea of, they know they're going to go into a plan. So just exactly like you said, when we interviewed Stacy, they're used to making a plan and working the plan.
Yes.
When you started out, Chadwick, where did marketing fall on your list of priorities, and what was your level of understanding of marketing when you were starting out?
You're gonna pity me. I thought, so far as I was concerned, marketing was an encumbrance to me doing what I needed to do, and I didn't want to spend money on the marketing gods because there was no predictability to it, and you were basically just, you know, throwing the people down into the pit and hoping, you know, that being my dollars. and hoping that there would be some kind of return, that there would be rain for the crops. But so far as I was concerned, I was just like, that's dumb. And what a waste of money. Or at least if someone was able to do that, they better have a huge marketing budget. But I was just like, I about couldn't stand if someone said, can we have $200 for this? And I'd be like, okay, I guess. But in my mind too, I was like, no, I'd kind of rather, like, I don't know if you get how this goes in a small business, but I think I'd rather keep that $200,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, those $200 are my $200 that I'm giving up. So no,
So you
how
didn't
about
have,
no?
you didn't have like a budget allocation that says I'm gonna.
No, I did have a budget. It was
Oh, you
zero.
did?
Leave me alone.
we get that a lot. It
Yes.
seems to be an expense that people are.
I was over budget
isn't,
after the first
top priority.
dollar.
But did
Yeah.
you hear what? But did you hear what you said right there? And I think that's a secret power to Annette here in this storyline. Was you said you felt like you were just throwing it away, right? You didn't know what was going to come back. It was not
Mm-hmm.
predictable.
Well, there was the change. Like, so when I started using PDA marketing, then I was able to, like within the first month, they said, okay, here's our first month ROI. It's 2-to-1 on this particular thing. Eventually we get our doctors to a 5-to-1. And in your area, I think we can actually maybe get a 6-to-1 because it's more important, you know, in your area with this. So let's keep on trying. And one thing that I'd like to change is this. Are you okay with us upping the budget from $400 to $600 next month, in the next few months for this, because I feel like there's a sweet spot. If we spend that, then we can get a better, you know, it's not a linear progression. So that kind of stuff, where then I started going, now you're talking my language, because you know I love Excel files, and I love it's kind of calculus too, is trying to find the asymptotes, or finding the part of the curve where you're getting more bang for your buck, and then finding out that it might level off, or even worse yet, taper off, and that over time that number changes. Okay, so yes, then all of a sudden I was excited to, like, because I had a cooperative teammate that was saying, I'm alongside you watching those and tracking those, and I'm accountable to making sure you know what that data is and what do you want to do with it. And it totally changed. So I
that
make
your
fun of
office
myself
manager,
now.
Chad?
No, it was Jenny and Annette.
Oh, you called her a partner. That's so nice that you called them partners. I thought you meant somebody within the practice.
No,
being your...
well, they were. I mean, I had outsourced it, you know, from my practice to Jenny and Annette to tackle those problems that before I just thought, what a waste of money. And then what's the recourse? What was the recourse if it was just another company, Jane, who, and I'm sorry for any Jane out there, you know, but like, so if there was a Jane that said, give me $2,000 and I'll try and do the best with it. And at the end of the month, if I said, okay, what did you do with it? And they said, I tried, but you know, we didn't get anything, or maybe we did, but I don't know how to even track that. To all of a sudden, you know, Annette sending me an email saying, hey, Jenny and I would like to schedule a call with you. And we set up that quarterly review, and it says, hey, you got in the last 3 months on average per month, 55 new patients, of which this demographic, and then, you know, we got this many dollars on average per new patient appointment, treatment plan. This is how many we diagnosed, and therefore this is how much we completed, how many dollars we earned back from it. Here's the ROI. All of a sudden I was just like, yes, this is accountability, and I'm on board now. In fact, Annette, if you remember when we were doing our mailer at first, we sent out our mailer, and we sent out, I think, 5,000 postcards that month. And after like 2 or 3 months, we were seeing a positive return on investment. And I said, double down, start doing 10,000. And they said, and you guys were like, I don't know if maybe you should. And I said, I don't care. I said, I know it's only going to get better. Let's start because I said, I know my area and I know where we send it to. I know if we send it to a couple of these other zip codes, it'll work just as well. And if we're going positive, let's double down. And sure enough, I was right. Like, I took you guys' data, and even though you were cautious about it, you know, but I was, well, because again, there's a dollar amount assigned to it. And you guys probably think, I don't want to make this guy go up skyrocket and then crash. But I was so excited and seeing this positive data that I had never got before, that it's like, okay, let's do this again and again and again and again. Because yes, I spend, you know, for 5,000 postcards to be sent out, but at the same time, I'm getting back double, then triple, then quadruple, then, you know, quintuple that ROI on those cards. I don't know what my ROI right now is on my mailers, Historically, it was probably 0 to 1. And then when we started using PDA marketing, like I don't know if we're in the 5 to 6 to 1 or something like that, but here's the deal. It's better than 2 to 1. Even if it's a 1 to 1, at least you're getting your money back. So 2 to 1 or better is what you're looking for. And maybe to offset insurance issue, Reagan, which we're going to be addressing, but you maybe don't even want a 2 to 1, but maybe a 3 to 1. So that way it's like, okay, well, that's healthy to offset my write-offs from insurance and everything like that. But when you're getting 5 to 1, 6 to 1, no question, let's double down.
And that's what I think is really interesting, is that people do come in and marketing is not their top priority, and they think they're just throwing money away, which is kind of why, and I've used this analogy, I know, with you guys before, but I really relate it to kind of a stock market, because a lot of people are really scared to put money into the stock market, because
especially when they've lost.
Quote unquote, exactly. Yes. They've lost before. But when you hire a financial planner who has a little bit more in-depth and intimate knowledge about how it works and can give you advice and is doing it kind of for you, whereas you're not traditionally trained in that, then you kind of build that trust. So when somebody comes to me with a pretty stringent marketing portfolio and they have lost and they are scared, and they don't want to throw money at things that aren't going to work, that's where I think bringing on a marketing coach is a really unique opportunity, because like you said, and it's really, I feel really honored for you to call us a partner, but that's what we are, right? We're your advocate and we're your partner in the practice. We're not just somebody who wants, we're not getting a portion of the money you're spending on marketing. We want the dollars to work as hard as possible for you. We are your advocate. It's as if you were to hire us in your practice, but we happen to live in different states, So that's what I think is really unique and powerful about this.
So absolutely. So thinking about Chadwick's experience and his background and his honesty, which is actually really reflective of a lot of dentists that I've heard. So that's it wasn't much of a surprise. What is something, depending on where a dentist is in their marketing journey, what is something that a dentist could do that they could start the tracking process, that they could look at that particular tactic and do it themselves and maybe start to get that taste in their mouth like Chad had from saying, this is not really, this is not worth any of my investment. I shouldn't do this at all, to, oh my gosh, now I understand all the data behind this, and now I know what I'm getting for my investment.
Yeah, no, that's a really great question. I would say it really comes down to numbers, and it is kind of nice that a lot of dentists have sort of an engineering and analytical mindset, so they don't mind a little bit of Excel here and there. But honestly, it's refining. I would say start by refining your referral reporting and your software, and your internal software, so that you can get a better idea of exactly where these patients are coming from, right? Is it a patient referral? Is it online? Is it a direct mail? Whatever the case is, and then you can break down those dollars and compare it to your expense for that particular campaign. So if you're spending $1,000 on a direct mail campaign per month, and you had $2,000 worth of production come from that month, you know that you're making your money back and more. You're at a 2 to 1, right? So it's really easy. You just take what you've spent and your production numbers once you've refined your referrals, and you find that ROI. And that's a very powerful starting point for anyone.
Especially when you're patient, because, if after 1 week you go, how many pounds have I lost? Or
you're right.
Or like how much money have we made from this marketing campaign? Oh, this SEO stuff isn't working. And it's like, it's only been 3 days,
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is why we do quarterly reviews, right? We have to have the data to make the smart decisions. And patience is very key. Nobody wants to hear that, but it is key and very important, and that's how we make those best decisions moving forward.
If we've got a shy, introverted dentist, I don't know any of those.
Like me.
Me neither.
Chad, you're void from this discussion.
Right.
And I'm not sure how to get started in the networking part, because I see your message today is really tandem. Your message is work internally, track what it is that you're spending money on, but also build your brand awareness that speaks to lifestyle, that speaks to getting out in the community and making your face known. What advice would you have to our doctors that maybe they're not naturally inclined to do that? Where should they start?
Which is fair. We're not all extroverted. I'm actually an introvert myself, but that's what's kind of unique about our culture right now is that we have some more passive ways to connect with people, but not go out there and speak with them, right? So social media is a really powerful tool. And I think that's one that's really understated with dentists. I have a lot of dentists that come to me who have no Facebook presence, for example, and they might have just, blogs from their website company pushing there, but there's nothing personal or for people to sort of bite onto that allows them to relate to them on a human level. So we recommend a healthy mix, right, of educational posts and fun posts. So if you've got birthdays going on or National Hygienist Recognition Week, and you guys are, sending flowers to your ladies, like talk about that stuff because everyone loves to see that, and it's more relatable. So that's a
Sending
really
flowers to your ladies. What is that?
Well, to your hygiene team then as well. To your team. So a lot of my clients will do like gift cards or gift baskets for Recognition Week, and then we post that on Facebook so that everyone can see. And it gives the patient an opportunity to thank the hygienist as well in a public format, and everyone gets to interact. So I think that's a really good starting place for those types of dentists, and they can have somebody in the practice own that as well.
So listen, Rich Constantine is the dancing dentist. Do you guys remember seeing him? And he's the guy that was Kiki.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you love me?
Yes.
Yes.
He is super shy. And I just met him a couple weeks ago at a conference, and super shy guy. And yet he's got 92 million views, at least as of now, and climbing. And he was just being authentically him. It wasn't a big group of people, but I think of ways that might be the most bold
way. Did it impact
way.
His practice?
Yes. But I think for the better. I think that he's found ways to make sure to channel and and stuff like that. So but he said it's awkward, like when he's at the gas station and filling gas, and people would be like, "Hey, Kiki." So, when I, as an extrovert, see a guy like Rich be able to do something bold like that, or even less bold, because that would be a big, bold thing, right? Like, hey, just go viral. But it's like, listen, it can be something simple that I see some of my more introverted friends do for their practice, or just being themselves as a guy going out fishing, or posting a picture while you're skiing, or something like that, just of what you're interested in. And I can tell that they're relating to people. You can see the comments on Facebook, let's say, or just even when you're meeting around. So not everyone has to be an extrovert in order to be personable. It just might not mean that you find a lot of energy from being around a lot of people. But if you truly are a people-loving introvert, then you can be introverted and still say, when I'm go talk to that one person right there, or when I'm doing this or that I can still just be me, and people will be drawn to that if you still enjoy people. And it doesn't have to be a group of 50 people like an extrovert would like. An introvert just means that you're better at smaller groups, or maybe, one-on-one and stuff like that. But
yeah, it's interesting you say that. One of the things I did read in this side note is that introverts feel more comfortable when people come into their space, right? They're very comfortable in their space. They've already set up and prepared mentally for people to come there instead of walking into an unknown.
Yes.
So maybe you can host, community events at your practice, like small ones, or that kind of thing.
Oh, that's a great idea, Annette. I never ever thought about it like that, Annette. So if you're introverted, bring them into your space. Host them.
Yes. I do the same thing. I like hosting for the same reason, and I'm more uncomfortable walking to a crowd. I can do it, but.
Let me also throw in then, if dentists are listening to this right now and they're thinking, okay, I'm an introvert, where can it's just like at your practice. Like you're not talking about having something special. Every new patient is a one-on-one opportunity for them to be on your home court turf. They're coming to you, knock it out of the park, and then ask for a referral. And if you don't feel comfortable doing that, have your team say, boy, you know what, that Dr. Smith today, she really loved having you come in today. If you know anyone else, we'd love to have more new patients just like you.
Exactly.
So it doesn't have to be you. Delegate that to someone else, but like your home turf and where you can host people, hostess people, whatever, is in your own practice.
Absolutely. Yep. And I think you're absolutely right. It's a relationship-driven industry. So if you're killing it chairside, and then you're training your team to also ask for those referrals, that's an incredible starting place. So
Before we started recording, you mentioned a TED Talk that was interesting to you.
Oh, yeah. Go to the TED Talk.
Yes. So it was this, it's a very quick one too, which is nice because Chadwick and I were talking about how, what is it, 80% of YouTube viewers are men?
Men, yes.
80%?
80%.
Yes, which I 100% believe. My partner is on YouTube all the time. And I use it for learning opportunities. But so I would say 10 minutes is kind of my max attention span, which is why this one caught my eye. So it's called Why Good Leaders Make You Feel Safe. And I wrote down a quote that really stuck out to me because leadership's been on my radar for some reason lately. I've been really interested in reading about what leadership really means. So one of the things that he said in this TED Talk was that in the military, I know it seems off topic, but it is relevant.
No,
in the military,
leadership.
yes.
Yep.
In the military, we give medals to those who sacrifice themselves so that others may gain. In business, we give bonuses to people who sacrifice others so that we may gain, and we have that backwards. And I think that's what's really unique about dentistry and the PDA is that not that we're necessarily sacrificing anything in the negative, but we do give a lot of time and our energy as dentists and PDA personnel so that others may gain, right? So that our patients may gain and they may feel great about their smile or gain their health, so that our dentists may gain and their practice and their team might thrive. So this really just resonated with me on the PDA side when I listened to this TED Talk, and I think it applies to everyone and their lives as far as leadership. Many of the things that he said. The other thing that really resonated with me was that leadership is a choice, not a rank. So you have people that don't have authority that are leaders, and you have people with authority who are maybe not leaders. You wouldn't follow them, right? So anyway, I thought it was really inspirational, and I would recommend it to anyone.
Well
Very
said.
Thank you.
All right, Chad, you want to ask the question?
Annette, you know it.
I do.
Bacon or eggs?
It's eggs, 100% eggs.
I knew it. Now, if any of the listeners also want to write any questions, by all means, when we post this on our Facebook page, feel free to write your question where this podcast is posted. This might not be even the venue of how you found the podcast. You might have us on your phone or on your iPod or however, but you can go over to the Facebook page, Productive Dentist Academy, and look for this broadcast, and then you can click on it and fill in any questions or thoughts and stuff like that. And Annette will see those and write back if you don't mind, Annette.
That's totally fine.
Yeah. So to all of our listeners, we have another eggs person, and we're thankful for that to even it out because it seems to have been going bacon for quite a while. So thank you so much, Annette, for joining us today.
Yes, thank you guys so much.
Bring your lunch or take us to the gym again next week to improve your everyday practices. Also, subscribe on iTunes, follow us on social media, and sign up for our email list. Now get out there and win with everyday practices.